Good morning, BTHV1 here. Well, my good friend Graham was cleaning out a rural property, and he's given me this older but very nice John Deere / Briggs & Stratton generator. It's beautiful. It's a 4,000 watt, which is perfect. It has 20 amps at 240 volts, so it'll run 220 amps for the house through a transfer switch, of course, to make it safe. And just early testing, it did have a spark, but with my spark tester, it didn't have enough energy to jump the gap on the plug. If I grounded this part right here onto ground on the spark tester, it would light, but there's not enough energy in the coil to jump spark. So what I'm going to do first off is change the coil if I have one. Should have one laying around. I've done a few bigger John Deere motors. This looks like an 8 horsepower, and we'll just see if we can get it to fire. So this will be fun to send to Graham if I do. BTH over and out. We're just going to take... Hi guys, BTHV1 here. Well, the next step to make life easier so I don't have to grind my knees into the concrete is now I've got the generator on the stand. I'm going to have to make sure that it doesn't roll off here because there's nothing blocking these wheels. So I think right now I'll put something on those wheels to keep it from landing on my toes. So anyway, BTHV1 over. Alright folks, so now I've taken the two bolts off of here and off the bottom, and I'm going to pull off the cover, and I expect the wire from this switch to go to the coil for turning it on and off. So let me just put this down over here. We'll see if we can do this. Alright, so I just disconnected the bolts off the fuel pump, which was attached to the side of the housing here, and there's our coil. That's the beast right there that is going to hopefully make our day. So let's just take that off now with a 5/16 nut driver, and we'll see if we've got that coil in the right size. The whole concept is each coil has a different size because of the circumference of the flywheel. But I've done other videos that have all the very same things. This is the modern clutch. As you pull the rewind, it goes one way, and then when you let the rope go, it snaps back. And it's all very, very similar. This is just a bigger engine, that's all. BTHV1. Alright, BTHV1 here. Well, we're getting somewhere on this recovery of this generator. I had a look at the gas inside the tank, which is right here, and it was quite old. It was quite yellow, so I use a turkey baster labeled so we don't use it for anything else, and I disconnected the gas line right here at this filter, and I put a cup down here, and I drained about 3 or 4 liters of gas out of this engine, just so that we're not mixing good gas with old gas. And then right here, if you can see that brass colored bowl, that's the carburetor bowl. I also took that off and drained out any bad things that were sitting in there. It wasn't too bad, it was pretty good. And so now we got the fuel system ready to go. Well, good morning folks, it's BTHV1 here, Bruce the Handyman version 1, because the handyman never does the same thing twice. We got this motor running on this John Deere 440G generator. I had to put a new coil on it, and you'll see it's got a longer lead on the spark plug, but that's okay. So we've got the motor running, and what I'm going to show you first of all is the spark that we now have. I'll just put this down. So now the second problem is with the generator motor running, I don't have any voltages coming out of any of these outlets. So looking for a main breaker, I have not found. Okay, we're back. I just want to show Graham and Shannon that this will fire up. So here we go. Choke. Noisy, but we got her working. Just a matter of replacing the it looks like the ground fault receptacle is no good anymore, and it also feeds the second receptacle. So the ground fault receptacle feeds the regular receptacle, so they're both on GFI. And so what I'm going to do is replace this, and then we should have electricity on both the GFI and the outlet. That's why I had to use the alligator clips to run the test lamp, because it didn't have anything to plug into. Well, BTHV1 here. Good news on the generator, on our John Deere 440G generator. I have replaced the GFI receptacle, and as the other one would not reset, even under power it would not reset. And then the slave to it is the second outlet, which is also a GFCI, as it's slaved off the square one. And up close you'll see that both are now labeled, which is code. And then the other two outlets are, one is 30 amp 120 volt, and this one is 20 amp 240 volt. And so we are pretty much done the restoration, except for a little bit of paint on the frame. Well, BTHV1 here. This is the last step for the 440G John Deere generator. I have just finished the last coat of paint. It's called satin black. It's not too shiny, and it's not a flat back. So anyway, we'll see what it looks like when we get all the pieces put on and the masking tape pulled off. BTHV1 over. Well, BTHV1 here. I'm finished the John Deere 440G generator. It has a new coat of paint on the frame, repaired ignition system, repaired ground fault circuit interrupters, a set of wheels so that when we go through the gravel we don't get stuck. And I just improved on Graham's wheels a little bit. I put a double bolt there and a pressure treated piece of wood. The gas tank's been treated with the same, well, it's a secret, but it's the same stuff that you treat tires with to make it look brand new. Generator looks good. The tires are on the inside so that they don't take up any more storage room. So I think she looks pretty darn nice. I don't know if this is boasting or sharing. I really have no idea. But I even redid the ground lug for attachment to ground when you're running into a panel. So yes, I'm very, very happy with the whole thing. She looks good. Thank you very much, Raymond Shan. And it runs.